Hello everyone, it's Bavario again. I am alive, I exist. Today I'm going to be reacting to a video made by Infinite Bits busting 20 Mario Galaxy myths. Now this is somewhat unusual because this video is already 1 year old. So why am I reacting to this now? Well, for one, I want to try out the whole reaction formula because I never actually properly did it before. And secondly, this video was actually shared recently by SY24 in the Mario Galaxy modding Discord server, and it raised a couple eyebrows. So I want to go through it. I want to see if I can explain the myths to the best of my knowledge, and yeah, let's go. The video link will be in the description if you want to watch it yourself. We're basically just going to be reacting to each myth, and then I'll best try to explain why a myth is false or correct or anything like that. Full disclosure, I am not God, I am not a Nintendo developer, I don't know everything about this game, but I do want to try to see which ones I can actually properly explain.
There are so many myths in Mario Galaxy, like for example, you can orbit around a planet forever without touching the ground. And basically, I'm going to take a long jump around this planet and see if I can avoid touching everything, so I'm constantly moving in the air and see, oh, yep, okay, there you go. That kind of explains it. I guess I was floating around and orbiting around the planet so much that for some reason the game decided to kill me.
So this is actually an anti-softlock prevention that the game has, and let me demonstrate what I mean by that. So this is my custom level that I'll be releasing later on, and I have these areas down here that are death areas. So when Mario falls into a death area, he will die. But even if I remove these death areas, you can still die by falling down too far. So even though there are absolutely zero death areas or black holes placed here, if I fall down, you would expect an infinite fall because I didn't place any measures to make Mario die. But if I fall for long enough, give it a second. There we go. Mario dies anyway. Even though there were no death areas, there was absolutely no black hole placed around that location, I still end up dying. This is an anti-softlock prevention that Nintendo put in to make sure that even if they forgot to place a death area, you still die from falling way too far, and to make sure that there's no infinite fall potential in this game. And the thing that Infinite Bits showed was actually the exact same concept, except for that, he didn't fall down, but actually fell too long in the air. He orbited for too long and was killed likely by the same mechanic. Now, I'm not sure whether Nintendo took the infinite orbit into account here as well, or if they literally just did this for falling down, like so. But either way, it is likely the same system that kills you on both. Get anti-softlock, Infinite Bits.
Myth busted.
Correct.
And we're busting a bunch of Mario Galaxy myths to see if they're true or false. Starting off with simple myths, like you can use a launch star on the other side of a glass wall. Okay, so normally when we land on this planet here, there's an entrance.
You're not gonna, no.
Oh, there it is. Okay. What? Okay, we can make the star spin. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Wow. I have not seen that before. Okay, so the likely explanation for this is that the launch star's hit sensor is large enough to allow for this. So each object in Mario Galaxy that Mario can interact with has a hit sensor around it, which is basically a sphere. And when Mario is inside that sphere, you can do something with that. And for the launch star, if you enter its hit sensor and then shake, it will take you into a bind. And the launch star can then move him around and let him fly all over the galaxy. So I think the problem is here that the launch star is just a couple of units too far up. So using some certain techniques, you can just barely get into the hit sensor and register the hit, which means Mario then gets launched. If it was just a couple of units lower though, this technique wouldn't work, seeing as it's pretty precise to pull off.
You can get inside the small house on the tiny planet in Deep Dark Galaxy. Okay, so in Deep Dark Galaxy, you can shoot yourself to this little planet off to the right here. Now, it's a smaller scale, so normally you shouldn't be able to get into these houses. Goombas, I'm trying to bust some myths over here. Would you knock it off?
Goombas are always distracting.
This one has like a door open, and apparently, yeah. Oh,
yeah, okay, that's just wacky collision.
Apparently, if you crouch, you can just squeeze yourself in, and yeah. What if we
That is just wacky collision. So let me see if I can find the collision model for this. Right, he's talking about this very planet right here. So this planet right here is actually not the same as the one in Gateway. This is actually a replica. So this is the collision model of Scale Down Relay Planet. He's talking about this house right here, and as you can see, the doorway is actually here. So we can see that there's triangles here all around, which should prevent the player from getting in. But I suppose because this archway in itself is too small usually, then that probably just allows Mario in.
What if we go first person? Ooh, oh, we gotta...
Yeah, that's just the inside. You have in any 3D game, obviously the insides are not textured because you're not able to go there usually.
Weird close-up of this ugly creature. And oh, you can see like the coins that are inside the planet. And yeah, you can pop out just like that. Myth confirmed.
These are one-way walls, which means it's hard to get in and very easy to get out. The reason why this happens is that every triangle of collision has something called a normal, which is essentially the direction that they're pointing at. We can see that they're obviously made up of a bunch of different triangles. And if we add the normals into this, right, so the normals are now visible as a cyan line, and it's a bit hard to see. Each triangle is facing a certain direction. So for example, this rock here has these faces to the side that are facing that direction. So if Mario walks onto these walls, then he gets pushed out to this direction, the way that the normal is facing. Now if this normal was inverted, that means he would instead be pushed inside. And so the reason why it's hard to walk inside the wall, but that it's easy to get out again, is just that basically a lot of different wall pushes are happening to try to keep Mario outside the house. But once he's inside the house, you can see that there's no normals this time because they're all facing outwards, which means that getting outside of here is very easy because Mario gets pushed outside.
If you shoot a cinder with a fireball right as it touches lava, then it will produce an infinite fire flame effect. And I'm just gonna knock one of these cinder enemies in the lava. And yeah, apparently when he hits it, you just shoot it. And yeah, look at that. Oh, what is that?
Okay, this is weird. Yeah, very weird in fact, because as far as I can tell, this is actually not repeatable. I was trying over and over and over again in my testing area in my Mario Galaxy 2 mod, and I just could not repeat it over and over again. Eventually, I even decided to use a mod that visualizes the hit sensors so I could more easily hit it, but even when I did that, the glitch still did not trigger. So this might actually be a Mario Galaxy 1 only glitch, though I'm not sure. What I guess is happening here is that the little cinder switches between different nerves over and over again. Now, nerves are basically actor states, and an actor can only ever have one active nerve at a time, and I imagine this conflict between fireball and lava causes it to infinitely switch back and forth between two nerves, creating this infinite cycle. I cannot prove this, unfortunately, but this is what I would think happens here at least. If someone can replicate this glitch in Mario Galaxy 2, that would be very much appreciated.
You can walk underwater by using Yoshi. If you're on Yoshi, you know, you can't really dive under the water, right? But if we get off Yoshi,
I have heard about this before.
Here, and where he's kind of standing under it, then apparently if you just like push him down where it gets deeper, if you do this you'll get on Yoshi and you can walk around underwater. Oh, okay. There it is.
Go.
I did it somehow. Yeah, you can actually
I have
do it,
seen this.
As you can see. Can we go all the way to the bottom? I'm wondering. Oh no, I stepped right off and I lost that weird thing.
So this seems to be some weird interaction with Mario code. I was gonna say, if you could actually fall down, that would be very strange. See, the way that water actually works in Mario Galaxy is not via collision, but actually by using areas. This is a cylindrical water area, and essentially any water area that Mario enters, he will enter the swimming state in it. So this actually means that it doesn't just check for the surface of the water, but it actually checks for the entire area of the water. So this is a sort of weird behavior. I assume what is happening is that he is actively pushing Yoshi right to here, essentially, and somehow bypassing the water check in the Mario and Yoshi code, which means he can walk here. But then as soon as he falls off, the check re-engages, sees that they're in a water area, and they start to swim again.
If you stay on the moving platforms in Bowser Jr.'s Fearsome Fleet for too long, then you'll get teleported. Okay, so in this level, you see like these moving platforms here in yellow, and obviously
sounds very
switch,
intriguing.
The platform
Let's see.
Starts and moves. Yeah, exciting. But
right,
apparently at the end of the
move
platform
OBJ
here, if you decide to just not get off and stay on,
yeah. So that's a very funny side effect. So you have this platform right here, which is just a map part, a rail move OBJ, and the way it is set up means that it will be moving along this path. This actually ends right here. There we go. This is the end path point of this path right here. And when it hits this end point, it is told to teleport back to the original path point, which is right underneath this platform right here. And the reason why Mario is affected by that is because, well, he stood on the platform for long enough, but also because Mario Galaxy has something called inertia. Inertia essentially means that you're tied to the platform. So if you jump on the platform and don't move the control stick, you'll land back in the same place on the platform. This inertia is very fun because it makes the game a lot more playable, but as a side effect, it does also cause this to happen, obviously. The only real fix you could apply to this is to move the end path point a little bit further. You would fall off the platform, therefore not being bound to it, and then the teleportation wouldn't occur.
And the camera looks really weird and glitchy. That's kind of weird.
The camera looks really weird and glitchy? Okay, what do you exactly mean?
Okay, you randomly just platform here if you decide to just not get off and stay.
Well, the camera doesn't look weird and glitchy, it's just following Mario's position. And it has to get there fast, so that's why it accelerates there. Not really weird or glitchy, but sure.
If you stand on one of the bugs in Puzzle Plank Galaxy as the platform falls down, then you'll get placed on an invisible platform. So there's a certain part in this level where a bunch of pieces of wood will fall down as it cuts itself, I guess. Or the saw is cut it.
Yes.
But if we look at this particular bug enemy up ahead here, apparently if we just stand on him, which I can't do, if we just stand on him like this, the platform will fall, but we won't actually die, and we'll just stand on an invisible platform. So we're drifting down slowly, and oh, I am on a
That is actually rather strange. This, by the way, is also the main thing that was weird to a lot of other modders, and this is why this video was shared in the first place. There are a couple of explanations that I potentially have for this. The main one could be that this platform that he refers to is actually the collision of the Mandibug enemy, but the Mandibug just doesn't despawn properly.
I'm gonna creep for Mario.
Well, I mean, the fact that this is sloped kind of gives it away. Let's see if the stink bug collision is actually sloped like that as well. Yeah, it is sloped like that. So I assume what is happening here is that the collision of the Mandibug is just not deactivating properly, which probably happens because Nintendo forgot an MR off collision parts call. Maybe. So I assume what's happening is that the Mandibug is dying, but its collision does not get deactivated, and thus what he stands on here is actually the Mandibug collision. He's on the slope of the Mandibug collision, I bet.
Something? I don't want to move an inch. Okay, because I'm going to fall. I'm going to do it anyways. Move an inch. Whoa. Move an inch. What is going on? This is a really weird platform. Look at Mario.
Yeah.
Okay, now I finally...
Yeah, my theory was correct. You can actually see the Mandibug for exactly 1 frame as Infinite Bits falls down. So I imagine what is happening here is actually that the Mandibug somehow gets deactivated, but not properly, which means the collision still stays active. And then once he falls down, it gets reactivated, dies to the death area, which makes the collision disappear and produces these effects.
Fish will scatter if you use the spin attack next to them.
Okay, so in Beach Bowl Galaxy, you know, under the water here, you'll see a bunch of sea creatures like penguins, urchins.
I'm actually not
also,
sure.
There's these little fish that fly around or swim around. Rather, what am I saying? But if you go up and spin next to them, apparently they'll just like scatter away. So here we go. I'm just gonna spin, and oh yeah, they actually do.
There you go. I'm wondering, do the fish actually have hit sensors? It actually does not seem like it, unless the fish has actor info, but I doubt that. Yeah, okay, so it isn't hit sensor based, which makes sense, but it's instead distance based. So they essentially do some distance math. They try to figure out whether Mario is close to them. They don't actually use hit sensors in this case, which kind of makes sense because these fish, they're just a lot of different objects, and each one having their own hit sensor would be a bit of an overkill.
Okay, actually, if you go up normally...
Right. So if you go up normally too, that's good information. So that means they're probably not checking for even Mario shaking, just for Mario being close enough. And then they scatter. That makes sense.
So really, it has nothing to do with the fact that you spin. They just scatter when you go near them.
Correct.
So since that's the case, this is Myth Busted.
You can perform a super secret diving animation into the water.
Okay, so normally if you stand
I have an idea what this is.
Okay, so why don't we just go to the ledge, inch forward, and yeah, okay, if you're at the very edge, as you can see, Mario looks down, and apparently if you turn around and backflip, he'll do a secret diving animation. So ready, backflip, and oh, look at that.
Yeah, I've seen this quite a bit in custom levels, and the Nintendo developers wanted a little Easter egg, so there you go.
There's a secret Goomba planet in Bowser Jr.'s Airship Armada.
And right at the start of this level, you get hit by that thing. Don't do that. But
doesn't
right
ring bells,
you'll also
but let's see
this cannon. And once you go in, you know, you're supposed to just shoot to this thing. But apparently if you go to the right, okay, there's this tiny planet of Goombas.
Interesting.
That are just literally floating in space. What are these guys doing here?
They are not really floating in space. There's this tiny bounce planet, but
this
sure.
Is the prettiest.
There you go. Okay, that's just an Easter egg. Look, I didn't even know about that either. Even as a Galaxy modder, you learn new things every day.
You'll take damage from the fans in Bowser's various airships.
All right, so I'm just gonna try jumping up to these fans here,
I am also not sure about this, but I actually don't think so.
These fans are pretty hard. Jump into it, and absolutely
no, they don't do that. I was expecting that, because they look like just normal decorative objects, so it makes sense that you cannot do that.
If you long jump into the void off a certain airship in Space Junk Galaxy, then you won't actually die.
Okay, so if we go to Kamella's airship attack in Space Junk Galaxy, you'll immediately start on these toad ships here and then take the launch star to an airship. But if we go to this one here, which is like the second one, you know, you'll see it has a bunch of chests, a Magic Koopa at the back here. And apparently if you go to like the very head of this ship or whatever it's called and do a long jump right off of it, you won't actually die and will land on another planet. So
let's see what happens.
Here goes nothing. Let's take a leap of faith. And we're falling. We're certainly falling for a long time.
So Nintendo probably didn't extend the black hole or death area far enough.
Okay, gravity change. I got forced in a crouching position. I'm literally not even holding the crouch button, as you can see.
That is weird.
I'm still falling. I'm going somewhere. I don't know where we're going.
Oh, okay. I think I know what's happening. Right. So this is the airship, right? We can see the black hole down here. This is the yellow box. So whenever you're inside of this yellow box, the black hole will attract you and you'll die. So I suppose what is happening here, first of all, is that by long jumping, you miss this black hole range, and then you keep falling. This is the part that's a bit strange. I think what is happening is that he is also falling out of this gravity box. He falls so far that he just goes below it, at which point he has 0 gravity. And I guess at that point the game decides to just make him go towards these spherical gravities. It's a bit weird how that works, but I assume that's how that works.
Okay, gravity change.
And also the fact that he's crouching there is a little bit strange as well. Yeah, so he was in the 0 gravity state because he fell out of that gravity area, and then he was pulled by these spherical gravity areas.
You can perform a super fast start in the Cosmic Mario races.
Yes,
all right, these are
we
the
can
Cosmic
already
clones.
say yes, that is
like
an intentional Easter egg
they
left
race you,
in by
and
the
normally
developers
the race
as well.
just starts like, myth confirmed.
Mario can die from moving quicksand if you ground pound into it.
Okay, so normally, you know, in the quicksand in this level, if you jump into it, even if you mash A, you really can't get out. And
Correct.
It is, yeah, an instant death. Actually, not an instant death, quite the opposite, a slow death. But also in this same level, if you go to this like 2D section here, there's this other type of quicksand that you also kind of sink into. Now, normally you can kind of just stay in it and you'll never actually die from it. But apparently if you ground pound into it, then wait for a bit, this sand can actually kill you. So I'm going to stand from up here and ground pound. And am I any deeper in the sand? I can't even tell. Or is that what Mario normally is?
Nope.
What if I crouch?
Nope,
that doesn't work. Here, actually.
The floor code that we have here, let me see if I can find it. Full disclosure, I did not test this out, but I'm guessing this quicksand is the one that we have here that just runs you down a path. The one we saw before is the deadly quicksand. That's how that works. These are two different collision types. They have two different behaviors. And no, you cannot die from ground pounding into that, I guess. I mean, that would be a bit weird if it worked.
You can explode bombs by shooting star bits at them.
Okay, the bombs
I am gonna predict no. Or do they mean? Oh, well, they mean these bombs.
Star bit at this one, and
okay, well, that is a different question. I thought they were talking about bombs, but yeah, that just works, I guess. See, the thing is, why I was confused is they called it a bomb, but it's actually called a space mine. Here it is. So in the receive MSG player attack function, we can see that the item appears if you hit it with an invincible attack. So if you're invincible Mario, then it breaks and the item appears. Or if you're shooting it with a star bit, then it will also appear its item, as we saw in the video. The other ways you can make the space mine die is by shaking at it with the co-star Luma, or spinning it, however you prefer to say that. You can also do the same thing if you hit it with a Yoshi projectile or if you eat it with Yoshi.
That is useful or no? Damage if he swims in freezing water.
Okay, so you know this freezing water, right, guys? If you go in it, the screen gets all fuzzy, and yeah, as you can see, I took damage. Now I'm just gonna get the fire flower here, and let's see if I still take damage in this freezing water. Because if you don't know,
anything,
the ice flower,
that would be an Easter egg more than anything. You don't take damage. So if you take the fire flower in ice cold water, the water went down. The fire flower in ice cold, oh, it's still getting fuzzy. Yeah, no, I didn't think so.
Yeah,
I didn't think so.
In fact.
That would be a really weird Easter egg to have.
You can get under the sand if you shoot yourself with a cannon at a certain beach chair.
Okay, so at the very start of Deep Dark Galaxy, there is this little cannon here. And now apparently if we go all the way to the left here, like all the way, and aim at this umbrella.
This is another weird collision interference. So imagine what happens here is that you jump into the cannon, you shoot at this very location here, which Mario can just barely fit under, but he cannot really technically because he's like too big for it. And then the game tries a variety of things to push him back out, which is why you end up clipping inside the bench and then eventually end up clipping below here.
Mario, what if we...
Yeah, so this is just some weird collision. This is just some weird collision thing again. Again, he clips into here. It doesn't want him in there because Mario's too big, so it eventually just clips through a bunch of different walls. And then he falls through the floor. There is actually a water area down here. Now, there's a lot of different areas, but there you go. Water cylinder. So what happens is Mario gets clipped below the floor and lands in this water cylinder, which is why he's able to swim down here.
The camera's getting stuck on everything. I just want...
Yeah, the camera here is obviously set to not be able to move through collision. This camera is obviously not set up to do that because you're not supposed to see through walls.
Is the camera gonna glitch more? It's going...
It's not.
What happened? Mario! What the...
So... he just swam directly into a black hole. That's what happened. And we can actually see through this thanks to white hole. So this is what it would have looked like if the camera was not restricted. You know, you could see all this from below. But then eventually he keeps swimming, and then ends up in a death area probably somewhere because I don't actually see a black hole. Yes, so he keeps swimming. It's very hard to see. I apologize, but this is the cylinder that we're at. This is the one that I already have selected. And he keeps swimming in it until he hits this edge here. And this edge belongs to the death area and he dies. And that death area is actually for... they place this death area here if you were to somehow make it over here. so that you still die. So that's what that is. And it just hits the inbounds part of this death area.
Myth confirmed.
Myth confirmed.
A giant black void will appear if you exit a certain warp pipe in Melty Monster Galaxy.
Okay, so at the very start of this level here, if you just gaze
Never heard of that
off into
before.
the
Let's
distance, you know, you'll see a lot of space. It's Mario Galaxy. But if you'll notice, this is very
It is
very
Mario
blank,
Galaxy.
You know? You don't really see much. But if we go in this pipe here, you know, we get teleported into some chimp side minigame.
Oh, I have an idea
But apparently
now.
this background we're in, like this weird void here,
Oh, I
will
know what
appear
this
in
is
the
about
area
now.
that we were just at while we were looking in the distance. So let's go back out the pipe. So now we're back to the starting area once again. And if we look to the left,
yeah, this is what I mean. So this is actually very easy to explain. All right, there we go. So as you can see, we can already see this mystery thing right here, because all it really is just the skybox of the chimp minigame. So this is where you usually arrive, right, with the pipe and the checkpoint and everything. And this purple void atmosphere is essentially just the skybox of this level. So this purple void atmosphere object is tied to the view group 10. And what a view group is essentially just a way for the game to display objects when you're in a certain view group area. So this is the view group area, and it is set to view group ID 10. You're inside this view group area, so it spawns in the sky, and then when you leave this view group area, it does not despawn the sky.
You'll get a secret star if you collect 100 coins in a level.
Okay, so I think the best spot to try and test this out is in Rolling Gizmo Galaxy.
Well,
there's just so many
code
coins here,
for this,
so I'm gonna
but
just hop on this.
It won't happen.
Star.
This is not
Coins
how it
galore
works.
here.
Declare Power Star Coin 100. There you go. A galaxy has
so
to
we're getting up
specifically
there. We're at,
declare
like, yeah,
that
86.
such
Oh
a
my
power
gosh,
star
you get all these.
exists.
Oh,
So this is not going to do
And we're at
anything.
100, and all you get is a 1-up for all
Yeah,
that.
you can make 100 coin missions, but you have to specifically declare that it is a 100 coin mission.
Yoshi
Here's-
can jump infinitely by fluttering over and over.
I mean, this is
Okay,
the
so
most
this next one
basic
says
myth
if you do a
ever.
flutter jump
I
and
mean,
then
yeah,
crouch
of course you
immediately
can.
in the air, like
If
flutter
you
jump and
haven't
crouch,
seen
flutter
Infinite
jump and
Fluttering
crouch,
yet,
just like
then I
that.
don't know what you tell
That
you.
is a method.
Yeah, it's a very,
I
it's a
jumped
precise
off.
technique,
Flutter, crouch,
but you can definitely do it. If you get the timing down, you can definitely infinite flutter like that. And no, this is not intended by Nintendo.
Oh.
This is a glitch.
Myth confirmed.
Oh, and that's it. Alright, there we go. Well, that was the 20 Mario Galaxy myths. There were some pretty interesting ones there. There were a couple of ones that, well, were pretty well known, especially with that one at the end. But there were also quite a few lesser known myths, I feel like, and there were definitely some strange ones, for sure. There you go. That was a good video, I liked it. If you want to see more from Infinite Bits, I'll leave his channel in the description. And that'll do it for this first reaction video. Let me know if you liked it, if you leave a like down below. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more reaction content similar to this. And I'll be back next time. Bye bye.